It's important to understand that compliance professionals aren't miracle workers. I'm Chris Caruana, and this is your FeedZai Weekly Update. The New York Department of Financial Services recently fined Coinbase $50 million and issued a consent order. That order also requires Coinbase to invest at least $50 million more into its compliance program over a 24-month period. How did this happen? According to the New York DFS, Coinbase's AML compliance program and controls did not adequately address risks created by its rapidly growing business activity. Coinbase has been one of the largest crypto exchanges in the world and currently counts over 100 million users. Prior to going public in 2021, the NYDFS conducted a 2020 examination of Coinbase's 2018-19 business activities. The exam findings noted quote-unquote significant failures around its AML practices and required an independent consultant assessment of its BSA-AML, transaction monitoring system, and OFAC sanctions program. Coinbase adopted remediation plans. However, a 2021 follow-up by the NYDFS into its previous exam findings noted compliance capabilities failed to keep pace with business growth. Customer signups grew by 15x, and monthly transaction volumes were 25 times higher than the previous year. As a former examiner, I can assure you it's critical that an organization follows up on its previous exam findings adequately. When we review the consent order, a number of points stood out. I've chosen 3 to highlight. The first we'll categorize as adequacy and has 2 parts. A, failure to conduct an adequate AML risk assessment. As a regulated institution, your AML program is risk-based, and therefore it is critical that you establish a baseline of the risk business activities pose by conducting that assessment. B, they lacked an adequate validation of the transaction monitoring system. NYDFS regulation requires risk governance of an institution's transaction monitoring model. This ties into whether your TM setup adequately addresses those risks that you've assessed. 2, the compounding size of their transaction monitoring alerts created a backlog of around 100,000 alerts, with 14,000 of those requiring enhanced due diligence. Some of these went months without action, even noting that others deemed suspicious weren't filed within the required time window. The consent order also notes that 3 third-party contractors cleared approximately 73,000 backlog transaction monitoring alerts in just a few months. Unsurprisingly, when quality assurance reviewed, they took issue with the work product quality. That leads us to number 3. This consent order is a clear indication from the regulator that compliance oversight capabilities must complement business growth. The prescriptive requirement to invest $50 million of the $100 million order in said capabilities will likely become the norm going forward. It's important to note this isn't a crypto story. This is an AML story. A robust AML program is critical for any organization, especially those offering higher risk products and/or services. The nature of the findings dovetail with the discussions FeedZai is having with industry practitioners regarding the need for perpetual KYC capabilities, improved screening approach, and model risk governance best practices. In closing, it's important to understand that compliance professionals aren't miracle workers. Well, at least not all the time. It's also important for regulated institutions to support these efforts with adequate personnel, operational, and technological resources. If we can spend the money on revenue-generating activities, surely we can spend the money to protect that revenue and primarily protect customers in the financial ecosystem. This is Chris Caruana with FeedZai, and this has been your weekly update.